I will finish it.
War for the Planet of the Apes. It's the third film in the reboot prequel trilogy, directed by Matt Reeves, who may or may not be directing Batman, who knows, and is the sequel to the 2014 film Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. The prequel trilogy follows the events that preceded the 1968 film Planet of the Apes, and ever since that final shot of the Statue of Liberty, fans have been wondering, how the hell did this happen? Well, Rise, Dawn, and War have you covered. My initial reaction to the film was puzzlement. In fact, I had a similar reaction to its two predecessors. A franchise like this has no business being so good. Where do you get off, Planet of the Apes? Where do you get off making a grown man cry over CGI monkeys? Really, I just want to know how this happened. How did this franchise manage to create such an endearing and venerated hero like Caesar, who is so well liked that he's tricked millions of human beings into rooting for their own extinction? Something that I was rooting for way before Caesar came along. Caesar's introduction to the Apes franchise was a bit of an unexpected success. Coming off of the abysmal 2001 Planet of the Apes movie that failed to spawn a sequel, the 2011 prequel film was met with heavy skepticism. It felt like an unnecessary cash grab. What it turned out to be was intelligent, thought-provoking, and it also offered an interesting explanation for how the Earth came to be ruled by apes. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes continued the success of the franchise and was considered to be one of the best movies of 2014. It furthered the story of our hero Caesar, and it introduced one of the most hated and memorable villains in recent memory, Koba. Man, I fucking hated that monkey. While Caesar is trying to build a better life for his people, Koba is a character that cannot escape his hate for humanity, and his obsession with vengeance leads to an inevitable conflict between man and apes. And now the prequel trilogy will conclude with War for the Planet of the Apes. I've heard some people say that War for the Planet of the Apes is a misleading title. And while War for the Planet of the Apes is definitely not a war movie, it is a movie where a war is taking place. There's really only two major action sequences in the film, one in the beginning and one at the end. Rather than focusing on the war itself, the story focuses on the characters who are actually fighting that war. It's easy to view war as a bunch of statistics, casualties and fatalities, but we often forget that behind those statistics are living, breathing people, and in the case of this story, living, breathing apes. It's a bold and admirable choice by director Matt Reeves. Instead of focusing on an all-out war, Reeves focuses the story on Caesar's struggle to save his people. Like most great leaders, Caesar is juggling the priorities of the group that he leads with his own personal motivations. In Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Caesar's primary ambition was to create a world where humans and apes can coexist in peace. He tried to teach his people a better way of life, instilling morals and rules for the apes to follow, teaching them sign language as a way of communication, and giving them hope for a better world. In Dawn, Caesar was a great hero. In War, he's become a great character. The ghost of Koba haunts Caesar throughout the film. Really, Koba's ghost is taunting him. Koba hated humanity for the way they abused him. In Dawn, he mutinied against Caesar and was directly responsible for the war between man and apes. Caesar says that Koba was unable to escape his hatred for humanity, but now Caesar is filled with that same hatred. War has turned Caesar's white knight armor gray. He makes mistakes, he acts on emotion instead of reason, and it almost jeopardizes the future of his fellow apes. The complexity of Caesar's conscience is his biggest weakness in the fight against the evil Colonel. While he doesn't surpass Koba on the Bo Oliver scale of villainy, Woody Harrelson's Colonel is a less extreme yet more frightening antagonist for Caesar. He reminded me of Marlon Brando's character in Apocalypse Now, a rogue commander without mercy who drives a wedge between the apes and humanity. He's basically a third-party villain. Woody Harrelson has the rare talent of being able to convincingly play both the hero and the villain. You can feel the anger and desperation in his voice and convictions. Like Caesar, he doesn't want to see his people wiped out, but he doesn't believe that nature will allow humans and apes to coexist. He thinks that the apes have come to replace humanity. He bears a burden that he feels history has placed upon him, while Caesar bears the burden of being a hero and leader for his people. You can feel that burden within every Andy Serkis grunt, word, and facial expression. expression. The master of mocap delivers another stunning performance that will probably not be nominated for an Oscar, but the special effects team definitely will be. It's absolutely amazing how realistic these apes look. Even compared to the 2011 film, the special effects have improved dramatically, and Reeves uses them to his advantage. They say that the human face is a canvas, and the special effects team behind War has created CGI faces that are almost indistinguishable from real-life apes. A lot of the film's emotion is portrayed through close-ups on these CGI characters. Emotion really is the best word to describe this film. Every scene, every character, and every line of dialogue serves the purpose of moving the story forward. So when the action does start, you can feel the weight of the war on their shoulders. When you make the bold decision to methodically pace your story, essentially bypassing the action and focusing on the characters, you must make those characters sympathetic to the audience. I've always loved Caesar, but in War, I fell in love with his supporting crew. Maurice, the old veteran, a wise and friendly orangutan who is Caesar's most trusted advisor. His two companions, Rocket and Luca, definitely a reference to The Godfather, who act as bodyguards to their trusted friend. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention Bad Ape, the hilarious common chimpanzee who absolutely steals the show in the second act.
Bad Ape!
Similar to the two movies that came before it, War doesn't allow its blockbuster potential to compromise its story or its characters. So War for the Planet of the Apes gets a 10 out of 10 from me.